Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Helm. If you want to check out this show live, make sure you go to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch every Thursday at 4 p.m. If you want to watch the show afterwards, you can go to YouTube. We'll have our regular show plus bonus content. If you want to listen to the show in your car, maybe in the shower, maybe while you're just chilling doing a workout, head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you could find a podcast, and search up Behind the Helm. Enjoy the show.
said I'd never join.
Thought living on sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter.
Never knew how strong I was. I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown. Or be the one who stops an attack.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
And welcome into Behind the Helm. I just can't get enough of that video. I'm telling you that new Never video that we have, that the Navy has, that they're pushing out is so good. It just gets me pumped. But welcome in. You are watching episode 72? 72. I forget. But it doesn't matter. Super excited. We're going to have Petty Officer Levesque back on. If this is your first time here, you might not know who Petty Officer Levesque is, and this all looks normal to you. If this is your 71st, 72nd time back, thank you. That's amazing. Make sure you find it, like it, share it, follow it. Smash that like button down below. Put this feed out. We're going to go over some great information. Petty Officer Levesque, this was pretty much all his idea. He built this, and, you know, he left. He's out in San Diego. Doing great things, and we're going to talk to him today and see how that went. And he's going to impose a little knowledge on us, little extra information. So we're going to work with that as well. So no homage to the Eagle today. If you guys saw the post on Behind the Helm early this morning, I was actually up in Michigan for a training with a bunch of Navy chiefs, my chiefs mess from here at INTAG Heartland, and some good training going on. And I was able to get back down to Indiana with just enough time to get into one of my offices and throw everything up and get it together so that we were able to do this with reliable internet. I don't think that the hotel internet was going to work. So without further ado, let me X some things out of here and find out where Petty Officer Levesque is. Maybe. So, like before, we're doing something a little different. We're not using Zoom since, you know, I don't pay for it. And last time we used it, it kicked us off. We're actually going to use Facebook Messenger video, which took us a minute to get set up, but we're going to see if it works here. So, a man that needs no introduction, the one, the only. I wish I had an applause track. I need a. That's my next investment, man. I need a hot board, like a soundboard, man. So just, you know, like when we were doing the oh man, what was oh, hold on, I'll bring him on. He'll remember. Let's see. Which one is it? This one. There he is. Hey man, how are you?
What's going on?
All right. Hopefully, go ahead and say something for me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, good. I mean, I can't because
Okay.
it's coming out of the little speaker, but I'm making sure levels are good, you know, because we didn't have a ton of time to sound check it because, you know, it wasn't working. But yeah, I think that's what I need to invest in, man. Is sound. I need a soundboard.
Well, yeah, I can't remember what it was that we did.
It was oh my gosh.
Oh
What was
my
that
gosh.
for, man?
Were we doing like a food thing?
Yeah, but it was
Was it the food?
oh,
Thanksgiving?
Certified Hood Classic.
No, yeah, this is a certified hood class.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was what. Yeah, it was either the food or the music. Yeah. So obviously, like, you know, for those who've been here before, you used to sit right next to me. I'm in the Anderson office, so the background's different. No homage to the Eagle this week, right? Eagle's not even here. I didn't do one last week. Next week I'll be back in the studio. Week after that might be off. We're getting awfully close to the end of the year, Christmas time, travel, so I have to look. But next week I'll be back in the studio. But you know, we normally sit next to each other. You started this. This was pretty much all your idea, and we just kind of built it from the ground up. You had an amazing opportunity. We talked about it a little bit, to go back to the fleet a little early, but there was some incentive to that, and you chose a ship and we talked about that. What ship are you going to? Because you're not even at the ship yet.
Yeah, I'm not at the ship yet, but I'm going to the CG-70 Lake Erie.
The
I
Lake
just seen
Erie.
it today. We went over to the schoolhouse, and the ship was like right there at the pier. So
Nice, yeah, because you actually had orders basically to go TAD to a school first. So you got out there, got yourself situated, and
Yep.
I know like moves, regardless, military or not, it takes a lot, right? I always like moving into a new place because you
Yeah.
gotta like put things where you want. I hate moving out. That's why I love having people come pack it for me because I absolutely hate packing. But getting yourself settled in. How was the drive out?
The drive was really good. If anybody were to say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go on a 6-day cross country road trip with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old," you might think like, "Oh, that's not gonna go well." But like honestly, kids were so good. We took advantage of every day. Went to a Nuggets game. Went over to Arches National Park. Just the drive itself, like seeing some of these things that it's cool. We travel in the Navy and all that, but there's some great stuff
Oh yeah,
here in the States.
yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
So it was really cool to see the Smoky Mountains and everything. It was a pretty awesome trip. Vegas,
You mean the
that was
Rocky
cool.
Mountains?
Yeah, the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, Smoky Mountains. That's like
That's
Tennessee, isn't
going
it?
towards Virginia. That's the
App.
Appalachian
Yeah, what do they call it in Indiana? Oh, they say like Appalachian.
Appalachia. Appalachia.
It's
That's
not.
it's not that's not Indiana. That's a redneck thing. It's Appalachia.
It's Appalachian.
Appalachian. Is it?
Yeah, that's what we say. That's. I
Is
mean,
that how it's pronounced? Were you there when they named them? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm from a state that was like, one of the first settlements in all of America. So I would say like what we say goes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think probably the only person that could trump you would probably be like people from like Philadelphia, maybe, just because of
Yeah,
like everything that they claim. But
yeah.
realistically, I guess it kind of
We're
be Virginia,
Delaware.
right? Jamestown, people from Virginia,
Yeah,
they like I feel like they get a
yeah.
say. But yeah, you definitely I remember looking and you guys were posting stuff because you guys you planned your trip. You took the time and didn't just say, hey, we're going to take the quickest route. You kind of planned a trip, kind of wrote out an itinerary, stuff for the kids to really look at and do as well, while you guys got to do some stuff.
Mhm.
The last pronunciation is actually correct. Which is it, Almonte? It's so I need some votes here, okay? First off, smash that like button down below. Make sure you share this feed. Is it Appalachia? That's number one. Number one is for Appalachia. Number two is Appalachia, and number three is what did you say? What did you say?
The Appalachian.
The Appalachians.
Yeah,
Appalachians.
the Appalachian.
You guys can't even pronounce like anything with R's in it, and you're gonna tell me how to pronounce something.
I don't think there's an R in that
No,
word.
there's not.
So
So
see, we're good.
yeah, but anyway, like so you guys planned it all out, and I know you got to do a lot of cool things because you guys didn't take just like the direct route, right? I mean, it was fairly that way, but like stopping
Mhm.
up in Denver to go, to a Nuggets game and like
Yeah,
seeing some of the stuff.
usually it would go like more
South.
south through like New Mexico and everything, but I didn't want to be in the desert that much.
Now, how many?
Even though like most of the drive really was the desert. It was crazy.
Yeah, once you get out far enough, it's like just nothing, right?
Yeah.
I know when we had that apartment out in Kansas City, and you take 70, 70, whatever the road
Yep,
is, like
70.
yeah. Once you got like past Indy, like it was just nothing, and then you got around St. Louis, and then that was it. It was just like just nothing, just going.
Mhm.
Remember, because I was going out there, I blew my tire got that flat, and I'm like on the side of the road. There's like no light. It's major highway.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it sucks. But yeah, so you guys got to do a lot of cool stuff. You get out to San Diego. I just want you to know. Let's see. We're gonna look right now. As of right now, oh, it's gonna give me Ingalls, which is fine. That's where I live. I'm looking at the weather. I want to see the local weather right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pull up your weather just so everybody knows. All right, so Anderson, Indiana, right now, 39 degrees, cotton cloudy. That's literally the picture, and feels like 33. So the wonderful high today was 39 with a low tonight of 28. And it's been going up and down, and people have been getting sick because of it. So how's the I mean, it's getting cold out there, right?
Yeah, the weather right now is 61.
Whew. Sunny.
61. Oh, but cloudy. Cloudy
Oh,
actually.
okay. A little overcast.
Yeah, a little bit of overcast. Feels like 59. So,
Man,
um,
struggling out there, huh? I noticed
yeah,
you have to. I noticed you got your long sleeves on, so it's a little cool.
next Friday it'll be 77. I mean, next Saturday. So, and look at the sun. Look at all that sun.
Such a sun. When people are like, "Why would you ever want to go to San Diego?" Hey, here's reason one. Like, here's absolute
Yeah.
reason one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to get that fake snow for Christmas. You even get a Christmas tree, or you just get like a palm tree.
You know what? You know what I've noticed here?
Huh.
Honestly, they take their holidays like really serious. Like
Really?
they decorate like crazy. Like it really, honestly, and you would think it wouldn't. You would think the opposite, but like I feel like it's more like Christmas time over here
Wow.
than it's ever been because
I don't think I'd feel that way. Like if it's so
they have
nice out and you're seeing all that, it's like, but is it
they got
Christmas?
several neighborhoods where they have like a theme to how they decorate their
In the
neighborhood.
neighborhood, like kind of like in like Christmas with the Cranks. You remember that movie?
Mhm.
Like how they were all about like the street had like
Yep.
each street, which I mean that's cool. Like if
Oh,
you have a community like that,
one of the ones we went to is called Christmas Card Lane, and everybody decorates their house, but in the front they have like they make a custom Christmas card, like a postcard almost,
huh?
and it's like probably over 100 houses.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so and doing it at Halloween. Wow.
Now see
Blown
Halloween,
away.
Halloween I could get right, but like
Yeah.
it's just weird to me. Like I mean, because you're from Massachusetts,
Yeah.
which obviously like in the Northeast, like it gets even colder, right? Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know if
I think
seeing
they
Christmas decorations
compensate.
in this like basically summer weather. You know what I mean? Like,
I think they're just compensating for the fact that like they don't get snow or anything that looks like Christmas time, so they're like, "Oh, we'll just go crazy on decorations." And there's never bad weather, so like you put your decorations out there, they're not going to get ruined.
right. Uh,
Yeah.
Kim Hudson just mentioned said she's done the drive from Indiana to California once and then said never again.
No,
It's a long drive.
there was a point in that drive where like Danielle literally cried because
Just
we
driving.
just because it was like mountains. Like once you get to Colorado,
Mhm.
mountains the rest of the time. And like you just kind of get sick of seeing it. It was like 2 days of like sometimes like windy roads and like going steep downhill or uphill. It was
Yeah,
like
so you
kind of
can't it's not like
exhausting
you're
after a
driving
while.
like 70, 80. It's not like you're on just a
Hmm.
highway. So it's like
Yeah.
even more especially since you came from here, so by the time you got there, it's you're already like 4 days in, 3 days in of just straight driving and now I'm going to continue to drive in the oh yeah, man. Like
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
crazy.
I guess I don't know. But like, me and you talked and because of the kids and the travel like to, this and that, like it just made more sense to drive. Um and I guess you could break it up a little more because I know like my grandparents used to drive out to Vegas. They would take
Hmm.
and they would drive out, make it a multiple day trip. And I just don't think you don't really realize like how far it is because like, when you're on the East Coast and even kind of in the Midwest, like a lot of the states are you can get from one state to the other. You get out there, man, like states get big. Like,
Kansas, I was like, when does Kansas end?
yeah,
Because
right.
it was Snoozeville. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
sorry to anyone who lives in Kansas, but I don't know.
Kansas City's cool. Like, because I've been
Well,
there.
that's Missouri.
Well, and Kansas.
Yeah, it splits. Yeah.
Because it's wild because like when Claire worked out there for that company and she ran 2 stores. One of her stores was in Kansas, one was in
Hmm.
Missouri, both in Kansas City, and then she was running the one back here. So, we were paying state tax in 3 different states. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, taxes were
No.
weird. But yeah, man, I'm glad that you made it out there again. You're on Behind the Helm, episode 72, I think I said it was. We're here with Petty Officer Levesque, the I don't know, the prodigal son, the founder, the co-founder.
Yeah.
You were the founder. It wasn't me. It was your idea. I'm just here.
The baby daddy is what I would say.
The baby daddy. I'm just like I'm like the stepdad of the show. The original producer. How about that?
Yeah.
And he's out in San Diego, California, moving on to his next adventure. It's not a job; it's an adventure. And on his way to the Lake Erie, which is a ship. Going back to that ship life. You're in school now. How much longer do you have in school?
Well, I just finished my first school and I'm in holds right now. So my
Oh
next
man, holds. Jeez.
Yeah, like it's not that bad, obviously. I mean, I've told you. I mean, I'm living a pretty decent life over here.
I feel like when you're first in school, like when you're a real young sailor, and I tell all the future sailors this too. That like you get to school, and like if they put you on hold and you don't go directly to school, you're like, man, like I just want to start school. I just want to get to school. And then you're in school and you're like, man, I just want to get to the fleet. And then you get to the fleet and you're like, dude, I'd do anything to go back to school.
Yeah.
It would be great to be on holds. One of my previous future sailors, I think I told you the story. She had contacted me and said that she was stuck on holds because it was during like the kind of the pandemic. So like she was really stuck and was on holds for quite a while because of restriction of movement. And she's like, yeah, it's horrible. Like I was like, well, what do you do? She's like, I have to clean for like 2 hours a day. I was like, is that it? Like,
Yeah.
Do you got to do it? She's like, no, it's just clean the same area, like 2 hours a day. Like, that's all I do. And then we get put on liberty. I said, all right, Murphy, listen to me. You have to clean one area 2 hours a day. And you're getting paid the same as somebody who's probably like on deployment and you're getting benefits. Like, that's not that bad. Like, you really got to look at the positive there. I mean, I mean, I get it because it gets monotonous. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Because I think the thing that I don't mind doing it. I would do this for a long time coming from recruiting, to be honest with you. But there's an itch to go do your job, your real job. So
I think so. I mean, I think anybody, even like the laziest person, like there's always a motivation for something. Like, you know what I mean? Like in especially like when you join the Navy, like there's a motivation to do something, and it becomes like that, when you're a motivated person, like you gotta be going. You look at a lot of people who retire out of the military, right? We had a big chief gathering today, and there's a bunch of our chiefs that like within the next year are up, like they're going to be retiring. There's like over 10, like I don't remember the exact number, but and a lot of them are talking about like, I'm already lining up this and this and this. And like, they don't have to, they're going right into the workforce because they just know like they're going to be bored. Like might as well, like, get something going. So it's, you just have that drive and stuff. So definitely. So you're finishing up a school. You don't go to the ship until you're on holds because you have another school.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the schools that you're doing? So like, okay, so let's backtrack. So Petty Officer Levesque, you've been in what, 8 years? 7?
Yeah, about to be 8 in February.
It'd be 8 years in February that you've been in the Navy. You originally went to your electronics, your basics, and then your basic EM school, your electrician's mate, right? So basically an electrician on a ship, it's just electrician's mate, same thing. And you went to school for that. You did all those things. You went to the ship. Then for your shore duty, you came recruiting. Now you're going back to a ship, but you have multiple schools before you go back. So I mean, you already know your job, right? Like, so, I mean, kind of explain, like, what is it? Is it a different job that you're going to? And what are the schools that you're doing? Like, what is this that the Navy's having you do?
Yeah, so I'm still going to be an EM. Basically, it's a C school. It's this basically giving you an extra specialty towards what you do on a day-to-day basis. I'm still going to do the same job. It just when it comes to certain tasks that have to be done on the ship, I'll be more of the go-to person, kind of spearheading any corrective maintenance or PMS or anything like that. So first school I had was electrical ability auxiliary technician. So
That's a
working with
mouthful.
all, yeah, basically learning the equipment and troubleshooting all the galley, solid waste, and laundry equipment.
Now this is stuff that you had worked on before, right? So
Yes.
you've worked on it before, but now you're just like going to a school to better understand. So probably like when you were a younger sailor, there was somebody who had that specialty on the ship, and you might be
hmm
able to work on it. But there might be a time where you're like, hey, we need, EM1 or EMC because he
Yeah.
knows this, right? More.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they just end up being the work center supervisor for
Right.
that
Right.
because they at least on the carrier they can work in service shop and
Right.
that's all their equipment. Everything we learned was service shop on a carrier.
Hmm.
Obviously, the ship I'm going to, everyone works on this equipment in EDIV. Um, but yeah, just going more into depth and on every different piece of equipment. Like there may have been sometimes I only worked on maybe just the griddle in the oven, but now I know about the steam kettle and I had no idea they have a potato peeler.
Hmm.
Like they put the potatoes in, right?
Yeah.
And then they have like a disc on the bottom.
Hmm.
And it's just like a how would I describe the disc? It's like a just an abrasive disc that spins, and
Yep.
then all the potatoes come out, like, peeled, and I'm like, "I've never seen that before."
Yeah. I guess I really haven't either, but I mean, it makes sense. But you like watch again, like kind of one of those misconception thing, right? Like you watch like movies and
Yeah.
stuff, and like how do these potatoes get peeled? Oh, whoever's in trouble is setting out back, like peeling those bad boys. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no, it has to get done somehow. And it's
Yeah.
wild that I guess it's different because you were on a carrier, right? Like, so you're going to
Mhm.
a much smaller ship, where like me and you talked when I was on the destroyer. Like the captain knew me by name, like you know what
Mhm.
I mean? And like I'd asked you, like, have you ever like talked to the the admiral? No, like like you see him at like all hands calls, but like that's it, because it's a little
Yeah.
different on a carrier because you have a captain of the ship, but then you have the admiral as well, right? Like it's
Mhm.
it's it's just crazy. Like you're talking a major city, so
Ti
you have to be a little bit more of
Yeah.
an expert on a smaller ship because you don't have
Mhm.
as many people to turn to, right?
Well, even to put it in more in perspective, so my sponsor,
Hmm.
he let me know that I'm gonna be the only second class once he leaves
Like
in the whole division.
like what? It's all like third classes and below, or
Yeah.
there's no.
And then above there's 3 first classes
Okay.
and one of them's leaving. But where I came from, we
Yeah.
had like I mean, probably like 10, 11 second classes. So,
Yeah. It's wild.
it's definitely yeah. And then but my now I'm on holds and then my next school I go to deck systems, which is like working on the capstan, like
Yeah. Yeah.
different the davit for the small boat,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Like just like for the
Cranes.
electrical for like the winches and everything that we use topside, like for
Yep.
unreps and for the anchor and yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 100%. Probably the crane,
Crane. Yep.
yeah, because of the missile crane. Because you'll actually be on
Mhm.
a ship with missiles. Aaron Shields, what's going on, Shields? We were just talking about you.
Somebody
Good afternoon, Chief Dowden and Petty Officer Levesque, watching from Naval Service Station Great Lakes. It's awesome, man. Good to see you. Recently, Dietz was just here last week on wrap duty, or not last week. Yeah, last week, and then this week Zirkle was here. Um, Wild Zirkle ended up being roommates with one of my future sailors from when I was running Fort Wayne, and he met him. They knew each other, and then when Dietz came back, who was it I was talking to? I had somebody in the office. Was it Beatty? No. I don't know. They knew each other because the day they left was the day you were taking them down to join. So it
Mhm.
might have been Zirkle and yeah, and Miller. Was it Zirkle and Miller or it was Dietz and Miller? Like No, Zirkle, because that made sense. Because like Dietz obviously would know him, but like Zirkle, like, they're like, oh hey, like they saw each other, they knew each other. I'm like, how do you guys know each other? You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
wild, and he hasn't even left yet. And they had mentioned something about Shields. Shields says he's coming home tomorrow. Are you coming home? If you're here a Monday through a Friday, man, you can do rap duty. Next week I'm available, but then after that it's leave, and I can't. It's weird. So definitely get a hold of me. And I see that, Hedrick is out there too. What's up, Chief and Petty Officers? Good to see you, man.
My favorite.
Normally about this time, a lot of people start messaging me about rap duty, and it's hard because they're coming home on Christmas leave and trying to get the 5 days, but I don't have, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of tough, but any of my future sailors out there, you get the opportunity to come back, do some rap duty, like come in, catch up with me. I'll give you some pointers and some stuff that I think that you should look at, and hopefully will help you along.
I've been seeing Ensign Dunnick a lot.
That's funny. Yeah, that's right. So Ensign Dunnick was on the show with us. He was one of our future sailors. Officer. He was on the show. We talked about OCS, and he's in another school right now, right?
Yeah.
And that schoolhouse happens to be where you are, and you were staying and watch there the other day.
Yeah, because we own 2 buildings. We own TSC San Diego, like we call it dry side. Dry side's where like most of the schoolhouses are and the barracks, stuff like that. And then wet side is obviously where all the ships are. So we went over there today, and I mean, I've been in his schoolhouse now like 3 times, and I seen him today.
That's
and
crazy.
but honestly, we were over there cleaning it because the sec nav was coming, and I was like, "Yep, see, here's why I told you to go, officer."
Yeah, because he wasn't cleaning it.
He said, "Dodge that bullet."
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
well, I mean,
it's like you
when
said,
you already
like,
have a degree, like, just go ahead.
Yeah, if you can, right? If you're
If you
competitive
can,
enough,
if you can.
the OAR and all that. But yeah, 100%. I mean, like, people don't realize the benefits of that. A lot of people getting out of college that have this degree, and life kind of hits them in the face, and they go like, "Oh shoot, I can't find a job with this degree." That, do it. Like, you can contact us. Make sure to smash that like button, share this feed. But like, seriously, like, if you have a degree and you're just not sure what to do with it, like, come talk to me. I'll get you in contact with an officer recruiter. Like, look and see if that's something for you. I don't think you go back.
He's
He's
gonna be an electro.
Huh? Oh, is he really?
He's gonna be he's gonna be electro.
What ship is he going to? You remember? It would be crazy if it was the same ship as you, but
I forget what it's called. But it's
could you
up
imagine,
in,
like, if he became electro? I don't remember what his ship was, and he was at the Lake Erie, and then like you showed up, and he's like your divo, and we put him in the Navy, like, you know what I mean? Because he was enlisted, like that. Like,
you better be throwing me,
dude.
That would be
like a weird like paradox, man. Like that mess with.
You'd be throwing me a bone. Nam's coming my way.
Yeah, right. Like, I remember when hey, look, I'm telling you right now, sir. Like, you were talking about
the only reason you're wearing that thing is because of me.
Oh my gosh.
You were gonna be like me, buddy.
Yeah, I see. Shields said that they're actually putting the whole base on mass leave from the 16th to the 2nd. I feel like I remember. Yeah. When I was in Great Lakes, they always did that, right? Because they didn't split it up. You could take the whole thing if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, but yeah, that's right. Like, it's not like on a ship where you're taking like kind of, half or half. So, yeah, 100%, man. So did you say what the next school is that you were doing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so you do that school. How long is that school?
It's only a month.
It's a month.
Yeah.
And you're on hold, just waiting to do you have a class update?
Mm-hmm.
When does that start?
January 9th.
Oh man. Oh no. So
you're on. Fine. I mean, I'm about to.
No, that's
go
what
on
I'm saying.
Leave here tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, I could get into how happy I am about my work schedule right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Like today was one of the longer. No, I did stand a watch for the first time. On Tuesday. It was so weird. This is so weird standing. But the watch, like, I didn't. Dumbest watch ever. It's like I just sat at a desk in Dunnick Schoolhouse, and I was on quarterdeck watch, but I don't have to check IDs. So I'm like, what am I doing here? I literally wrote in the logbook, like on the log sheet, that somebody forgot their textbook. And then I said, Ensign, whoever retrieved textbook. It was
Hey
just,
man, that's a hard life right there, boy.
but
Tell
that
you
was
what.
6 hours. That was 12 to 6. But other than that, I've been leaving at like before 10 every day,
I
from
mean, you
8
do.
to before 10.
It's one of those things like you do the hard stuff, right? And then this is like now you did recruiting. You did recruiting one of the hardest
Yeah.
times possible.
Yep.
And now you're seeing that karma come back to you, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
because I don't think people realize, and I'm sure people know, but they're not thinking about it. Like, it's
Hmm.
bro, it's starting to get dark here right now. Like it's getting dark outside right now. It's like 5 o'clock, and it's 20 to 2 for you. We're talking in the middle of the day right now, and you're done for the day. Like so, when people say like, oh, military, you just work like endless hours, like all that's like, no, no, it just depends. Like it really balances. I think it balances out over time. Like
Yeah.
when you're in stuff like that. So do
Yeah.
that school. Be there. So you start that up September 9th, get done with that roughly February, and then you find then
January 9th.
to February.
Yeah. You said September 9th.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
You're fine.
January
You're fine.
9th.
Yeah.
Go through to February, and
Mhm.
then you officially go to the ship. Yeah. So
Yep.
you left here. Shoot, October,
Yeah, it
right?
was like October 9th or something like
So
that.
you left here October, not even getting to because your original orders are to a ship. You're not even getting to that ship until mid-February.
February 6th.
Man, that's crazy, right? That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's nuts. So, I mean, since you're there, like, because you said it's on the pier now, because were they underway?
They did go underway for a few days.
Have you gone over to the ship? Have you seen the ship?
Like I said, I seen it today, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I would feel weird about going on board and just not. I don't know. I want to wait until I'm
Just gonna wait.
supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be kind of weird? Imagine, well, not really, because I remember before I even checked in,
Yeah.
I came to the office to visit you. So, but they got stuff going on over there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
They're
not
busy
trying
right
to,
now. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not trying to, interject like that. I just want to enjoy my time and then get ready for the ship,
Right. Yeah. Because introducing yourself to them will be the same then as it would be right
as it
now.
will
Like
be.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. That's really cool. And I know you're like I said, I know like we talked about it a lot. Like when you were looking at trying to decide whether to put in for that or not, like how it would be
Hmm.
viewed and this and that, and like you're going back to your rate, so it's not going to look bad on you. And it was the right choice for you at the time. So, see that you're in a house. How's the house? You like it out there? Like I know
The,
the
hou-
housing
the
market. We've been talking about it a lot. Housing market out there. They're releasing the new BAH. Like a lot of BAH is
mhm,
going up, a lot of places, and they did this
yeah.
supplementary one that they kind of plugged in for the area that you're in, just because the
Mhm,
housing market went kind of nuts.
yep. I know when we talked before that we would talk about like VA, but I think it'd be good for me to talk because neither of us. Yeah, did you ever live in military housing?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think we've really ever touched on it like the way that I know it now.
So, and it's different. So, no, we can. Like, yeah, we were going to talk
Yeah.
a little bit about VA home loans, but maybe we'll do that another time. Like, yeah, maybe military housing in general, because I get a lot of questions about that with like future sailors, right?
Mhm.
Like, what's the
Yeah.
housing situation like? I think we kind of talked about that a little bit.
Mhm.
But when we talk about military housing, we're kind of talking about like, hey, when you're married, you have a family, right?
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
also a little different for Navy. So, I lived in military housing for the Army up in Fort Drum, which is upstate New York, and it's on base, right? Like, so,
Mhm.
like, and I grew up outside of Grissom Air Force Base, which, has shrunk back now. It's a reserve base, but there's a lot of housing out there, and that was the base housing originally before they dialed back the base, and it was on base. Like, that's very
Mhm.
common, right? So it was weird to me, like when I joined the Navy, there's no housing like on base. Now in
Yeah, like
Dahlgren,
actually directly on the base. Yeah.
right? In Dahlgren, mainly because of where Dahlgren is, right? a C school I went to, there was housing on base. I lived in that housing. But yeah, Great Lakes, Virginia, San Diego, I'm pretty sure there's no like housing on base. The only housing on base is like
Well, I know
really
they,
high
they
officers.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I remember in Virginia they had officers row where it was like
Yeah.
super nice houses,
Yeah.
and
I
it was
mean,
like you're just like in a neighborhood.
one of our chaplains, like I had visited my chaplain and he lived over there. And I mean, he was only a
Mhm.
lieutenant, but I don't know, like, because of position, this, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
our military housing is off. Now, I will say it's off base, but it's still like, it's not, you can, all right, so let's start at the baseline, right? Like, you go to boot camp, right? You go to boot camp, and obviously when you're in boot camp, we showed pictures of it, you're in a, big open bay, all males, and then females would
Mhm.
be like, if you have an integrated division, they're across the hall, and it's just bunk beds, and they're separated by, well, like 5 feet, something like that, right? All in there. Obviously, that's boot camp. Everybody knows that. And then each schoolhouse is different, right? Like, but most of the time, the farther you get in your time, the better the situation gets, right? So like when I was in A school, and I know we went to A school in the same place, you're talking, you had your common area, you had a mini fridge and a microwave, you didn't have like a stove, like a full kitchen. You had a shared bathroom, which had a shower and a toilet. And then, it had like a vanity sink outside of that, right? Where you had a big counter, a big mirror. And then there was a room divider, and you had 2 bunk beds on either, a set on either side. Each side had a desk of your own with a wheelie chair. And then each side had 2 closets that only you had a key to. And I mean, the closets were pretty big. I mean, guys had like their guitars and like all kinds of stuff, like pretty big closet, decent, right? And then when I went to C school, I lived in military housing, which we'll get to that in a minute, but like single sailor, right? When you're in C school, I know for me, because I stood watch over there, I just never lived there. It was a room with a shared common area and a shared head, but it was then 2 separate rooms with actual doors where you had your bed, your desk. It was just you, right? And then single sailor wise, we don't live on the ship. I don't think, like, people tend to think that like that's you just live on the ship.
Well, all right, so you can.
I mean, yeah,
You
I don't
can
know
if
why
if
you
if
would.
you want to. Well, I actually lived on the ship for a while because Danielle was still living in she was going to school at Ball State, so I was getting BAH for Ball State.
Mm.
I mean, for Indiana. Actually, no, for Virginia somehow. And it was like the best way to just pocket money.
Well,
Because
sure.
that's like for me, I didn't know anybody and I didn't have that much I didn't have that many belongings. So
At the
for
time,
me,
yeah.
it worked out really well and saved, I think like $15,000
Yeah, you
over
just
that
crash somewhere
span.
if
But
you
I
wanted
know
to.
what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Like you can live on the ship. There are some situations where maybe the first few weeks, month, while you're
Depending.
getting established,
Mm-hmm.
like they're looking for a room in the barracks or room for PPV, but they're not gonna
Well,
keep you on the ship. They're
and
not
we
gonna
and we
do that.
say and like you said barracks, right? So
Mhm.
we say barracks, but it's not really I mean, in Virginia, I can't speak for everywhere, but like I had friends who lived in the barracks, and like we'd go over and hang out or whatever, or like they'd have a get together, and like that was that was fine because it's apartments, like
Yeah,
it's a
it's like
big
a
building, like, and you have
yeah.
a roommate, and you each can get in the door, and then it has a full kitchen,
Yeah,
normally
what
with like
is
a bar, like and then it has you had a full kitchen. You had a living room area that you could or could not use, just depended. And then on either end, each one of you had a door that only you could get into. And when you went into it, you had, your bed, a desk, your own bathroom, full bathroom, and a walk-in closet. So, I mean, you had a roommate, but like, and we say barracks, but like, they could come and do a health and wellness inspection, but like, it was, you lived there. Like, that was, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm about to send you something real quick, and you could pull this up
Okay.
because this is on dry side. This is for single sailors. I couldn't believe it when I seen it.
Make sure to send it to my
Uh,
personal or send it to me on Facebook.
yeah, I was gonna do it on Facebook. Hold on, see how I can do that.
You just have to pull up Messenger. So yeah, so while he's sending that, so there's that, right? But then the question is like, all right, you can be there, and I will tell you that especially there, like you got to think you got a lot of sailors coming in and out. If you go out on deployment, you actually move out. So because there's constantly moving parts, right? And quite honestly, like that it is what it is. You just sent it.
Yeah, I just sent. I mean, I couldn't. I can't believe this place.
Okay, one sec. You guys are gonna see this.
It might
Uh,
even be better if you went on Google to look at the photos of it.
Let me see. See how we can. I get it pulled up here. Let me. Now you can still hear me. They should still be able to
They,
hear
they,
you.
they have a rooftop pool. That's what I'm gonna say.
Let me go to like this. Here we go. So you guys can see this here. So this is like the campus, the area map, lifestyle, find your home. Now this for single sailors, right?
Yep.
So like you're covered here. So you have like, you can see where it's at. Here's San Diego. Contact for more info. Let's just see here. There's scholarship stuff that's there. Utilities and fees are included. We always do that. Fitness centers, outdoor living spaces, rooftop pool deck. Like that's crazy. Let's see, lifestyle. Just look at the campus or the lifestyle. Let's look at the lifestyle.
Let's do lifestyle.
Oh, okay. Like this is somewhere you can go on and you can see like amenities, things that are going on. But it's showing you here.
Like
There's on-site parking. Free furnishing.
free
It's already
furnishing.
furnished. Wi-Fi cafe, classroom, outdoor sports courts. There's a concierge. Like, yeah, man, this is
All right,
a package
Google
concierge.
search it.
Huh?
If you Google search it and look at the photos, because it looks like it's hard to look at the photos.
You could probably explore. I'm just looking at that's amenities. Probably right here. Nope. Floor plans. Here we go. Floor plan. So again, you can see you can see it's an apartment. I mean, designed 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, floor plans equipped with large closets, a built-in washer and dryer, and lockable bedrooms. Like the different buildings that they have, like, geez, man, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at but I'm saying,
What
just
is it
Google
called?
search it, real Pacific Beacon, and just look at the photos.
All right, yeah,
I'm like, where am I right now?
let's do that.
It's like I was in downtown San Diego looking at like these like fancy like condominiums. You know what I'm saying?
Let's look at images. Okay, yeah, so you can see here, like, this is the same campus, like, photos. That's from the top in the middle there. There's that rooftop pool. Wow. That's crazy. This is like single sailors. Like, you see, like, it's a small apartment. I mean, but you got a full kitchen here. Like, here's a good picture of the resident image. That fitness center, dude. That's nice.
And that's just their fitness. I mean, like literally, you could just walk across the street and you're at the gym.
Yeah, I mean, look, like there's, you have a balcony, like it's legit, like, and this is for single sailors. You know what I mean? Like this is not, and you're not paying for this. All right, so
Yeah, like, see, well, all right, so, yeah, you're not paying for it. No, you're not. So
nope,
just imagine you just got out of high school, and this was your first apartment. Now, I imagine because it's a 2 bedroom, I imagine you share it with one person. That's what I would
probably just
think.
like in Virginia. Yeah,
But like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's bye-bye to the barracks. So this is their barracks.
yep. Look, there's that pool, and that's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, so we're talking, this for single sailors. So, going through that progression, going through that progression of, as a single sailor, like what you're getting, right?
Mhm.
There we go. Now, when we talk about BAH and we're talking about those things and housing costs and, oh, you don't pay for it and this and that, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you have a dependent, like I almost said married, but it's also like if you have a kid, you're a single parent, you're going to have BAH, which is basic allowance for housing, and you would not live here. There is military housing, so you have two options. You can apply for military housing, or you are completely able to go rent, buy a house, whatever you want to do, but the BAH is set to where you are stationed, right? Like obviously my BH in Virginia was more than it was in Indiana. You're in San Diego right now. Your BH is way more than it is here, right? So it just depends on what you do. A lot of times they suggest like younger sailors, because it does go up a little bit with rank, right? They suggest younger sailors live in military housing. So you can be an E2, E3 married, have military housing. Like when I was in school, you know, there were guys that had military housing in Great Lakes. We were there for so long, like I was, that their family was there in housing, right? And when we say it's not on base, yeah, it's off base, but it's like its own community. Like nobody else can just move in there. You know, it's you can drive in there. You know what I mean? Like you get pizza delivered or whatever because it's not on base. But you're not going to have somebody just from the local area that moves in next door. It's a military area. And that's based on how many, you know, dependents you have and this and that as to what it is and where it is, right? But again, it don't matter if you're an E1. If you're married or you have a kid, you'll get BAH, so you can use that. And then you pick and choose. So what are the benefits of it? The benefits is you're living around other military personnel, right? So you know who you're around, and then also you're covered. Like your rent, basically they just take your BAH out of your check. Like you just don't receive BAH, and then you pay no utilities. They did change it a while ago. They changed it like because it was getting a little out of hand, where people were like, well, I don't pay for it, so they were just like leaving stuff on. If your utilities go like over X amount, you do have to pay the difference, but it's I mean, it's really hard to do. And then the only thing you have to pay for would be like, you know, cable, internet, phone, if you decide to get that, because that's not part of it. But like water, waste, sewage, so you don't have to worry about anything. It's taken care of. Like you don't even have to write a check. Like they take care of it. So, and then maintenance, all that stuff, it's taken care of. So that's the positive.
Yeah.
Right? Now, some people might say that the negative is also the same thing, right? Because you may be able to rent someplace cheaper. Yeah. And then you don't have to show what you're paying where, and then you can pocket the rest of that BAH. And especially like we've talked before, it's very smart if you know you're going to be somewhere for what you buy a house. We'll talk about VA home loans some other time. But then a mortgage is going to be way cheaper, but then your BAH, like just getting it all taken, you're probably going to have a bigger place. And that you can do more with. Like when you live in military housing, you can paint, you can hang things, you can do all this stuff. But you're also
no remodeling.
Yeah,
there's no
right. You're very
crazy things
limited.
like that.
And size, and it's kind of this is what you're getting.
But to give you an idea of like if we're talking like right now, because you know when we're talking about people wanting to join the Navy, it's right now. Okay, so you want to join the Navy, you know, maybe you have a family, and they put you somewhere like where I'm at in San Diego, and I'm going to share my screen so you get an idea. Well, I'm going to tell you first. I have a 4-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms, 2-car garage. I have everything. Now they are taking my BH, and right now BH is $3,800. I think it's going to drop down in January, and it'll be around 3,000. Still, that's a lot of money.
Ooh, I don't know. I think it's going up.
If it's, let's say, all right, let's just say it stays at 3,800.
Either way.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen.
So you're in military housing?
Yes.
See, I guess I did not think that you were. So you are and I will tell you, while he's pulling this up, if you think about it and like how much a house costs, you're in a 4-bedroom house with a garage with like you have your spouse and 2 kids, and you're still in a 4-bedroom house. Like,
Yes.
I will tell you that most military, I wouldn't think that you would get something like that big, and a 4-bedroom house with a garage in San Diego. I can't imagine like what that costs right now.
Can you see my screen?
No,
Is it showing it? Oh, hold on.
no.
Hold on.
So, and you've bought homes both in Virginia and in Indiana. Obviously, here we don't have military housing. Like, as a recruiter, like, you're going to be places where you're not going to be in military housing. But you still have that BH. So it's just one of those things. Like, that's what you have to do. There we go.
Okay, so so I already filtered it. 4 bedrooms, 3+ bathrooms. This is the area that I live in, right? I actually live right in this area in Choas.
Oh my gosh, dude! Is there?
So, do you see anything? So there's
the
this
lowest
one.
I'm seeing is 789,000.
So I want to try to find one that's like really close to what we have. I mean, this one's really nice. All right, I wouldn't say that. That one's looking real nice.
Find that one maybe that's like 789, like up in the north part there. Because that's the lowest one I'm seeing on there. That's insane.
Oh, this is a great comp right here. Our house does not look like this, but so
it's a big garage.
I have a 2-car garage. Oh, it looks like they had 2. All right,
looked like that was
let's just do
two
this
cars
one.
side by side.
We'll do this one now. Granted, I think their appliances are better.
Yeah, a little bit more modern, probably than your appliances.
More modern than what we have, but it has all the same stuff that we have. We even have a playground in our backyard. We open up to our patio. Open up the patio door, and you're at a playground. So,
and this is a house that's $900,000. $900,000. Like, that's. So I know that's what it is out there. That's insane.
So you can go right here. Okay. And we're gonna do the VA home loan.
Okay.
So 0% down. Right now, the interest rate is 5.7.
On a VA or just in general?
Just in general. No mortgage insurance because you don't pay that.
Don't pay that with a VA home loan.
$6,128.
God.
Okay.
That's insane.
But when I bought my house in Indiana, when the market was good, how much is this going to change the price?
Wow, that is insane. And I mean, I will still say that $4,000 a month for a house, because you're talking like mortgage.
That was a very nice house, though. Sure. It was like, yeah, it looked very nice.
I mean, it's a $900,000. You're talking about on a $900,000 home, but the point that we're making there is like, you're not. The amount that it just showed for mortgage for that size of house in that area, right, is not what you make in BAH, right, because of just right where the area that you're in, but you're in that size of house, and then you don't have to worry about it. Plus, on top of that, because of those interest rates, right, like that dropped to almost $2,000 a month. Like,
this is why I'm living in military housing, but this is why military housing is so awesome. Because the market will not affect what happens. So, and not even that, they do all the yard work. You don't pay utilities because that was just mortgage. That wasn't utilities.
Well,
utilities
internet oh yeah, that's true. You're right. What you just showed, that would be mortgage only. So you got to remember, like, you've got, out there, depending on where you're at, you have not just water, but water and waste and electric, gas, depending on what you have. Like, it gets hot there, man. AC is important.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of places don't have AC because it actually doesn't really get higher than like 82.
Oh darn.
Yeah, it's just
God,
honestly
you are in the pit of America.
Huh? Pit of despair. Pit of despair over here. Man. But yeah, I mean, anybody because there's a lot of people who didn't like military. Now, if the rates were better, then, maybe because you could find, I mean, that was an expense, that was still 900,000. You can get a house out here for 600 to 700,000, and you'd
But see,
actually pocket a
you were
little bit of
looking.
money if the rates were good.
Yeah, you were looking
Yeah.
in the area that you're in, and for the specific like size
Mhm.
of what you have, like you
Yep.
can. But still, like to say 600, 700, like that's insane. Like, I
Yeah.
knew guys in Virginia, like with families who were buying nice houses, and it's like 220, and that was still
Mhm.
like I was like, man, like that seems like a lot. Like 420,000, 4 to 5. You're talking like in Indy and like Fisher's there, like a very nice house, four or
Yeah, like a
five hundred
castle.
thousand. You're talking about a smaller house that is like 6, but I mean, it's the area is what you're paying for, and like the Navy understands that. Like when it comes to your BAH and stuff like that, like it's not a set thing. And just the fact that I know it's not completely comparable, but like you're saying, like you know you don't necessarily need 4 bedrooms. You don't
No, I
personally,
don't. I don't. I
but
was supposed to get 3, and then they said, "We have a 4-bedroom available. Do you want it?" I was
yeah,
like, "You're taking all my BH, so yeah,
yeah, it's
of
going to be the
course."
exact same cost. Like that's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it, I mean, yeah, sure, absolutely. Why not? If it's available, absolutely. I will tell you, like the housing market's been a little weird. Me and you talked, like, but see, you were able to get out there in military housing, like, because out there, I know it was a little rough and it can be um confusing, but there are people there to help you. I mean, when I first moved into
Mhm.
military housing, um, Fleet and Family had like like you're waiting on your stuff to get there, like from the movers. You maybe have like some basics, and maybe you're not buying all new stuff. Like they called it like the linen closet, and pots,
Is
pans,
that what the
cots.
thrift store? I seen a Navy and Marine Relief Society thrift store today. I
No,
mean, that's
that's
gotta be,
probably a
like, kinda
uniform
oh, that's probably
uniform
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
you're
You
right,
you
you're
go
right,
through
you're right.
Fleet and yeah, yeah, Fleet and
Fleet and
Family,
Family,
I
yeah, I
believe.
know what you're
And
talking about.
yeah, I mean they have almost on every base they have that for that reason, right? Like, oh, your stuff's not
Mhm.
here yet. Like, they may have cots or bedrolls, blankets, basic like like a silverware set and like a pot and a pan, and like just for those couple days so that you don't have to um you know eat out continually, or what you can go to the store and
Mhm.
just until your stuff gets there. So there's all kinds of help, and they help you, get everything set up. I mean, you know, both times I lived in military housing, like pretty much showed up to base, and the first thing I did was go to the housing office, and they took me to a house. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I mean, how great is it that you could when the market's good in the military, you could take advantage of it.
Yeah.
When the market's bad in the military, you could take advantage of it.
Yep.
Other people would be screwed right now if they wanted to buy a house. Me, I have the privilege to be able to live in military housing where the market doesn't affect it.
No,
So I've been a beneficiary on both sides.
I was gonna say, have
I've
you lived in military housing yet until now?
No, this is the first time.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
when you were in
because
Virginia,
this is exactly why I was like, it doesn't like, yeah, the Navy's giving me money for housing, but the market is so bad right now.
yeah,
I It just wouldn't make sense. But then they have this. And I
yeah.
wish I could show you like what if I was on my phone, if I was able to flip it to my phone, I could show you what a little bit of what the neighborhood looks like. It's just like another like housing development. It looks like it doesn't
Yeah, it's just
it's
it's
not
not like people think military housing, and like sometimes I feel like they think like you're gonna see like the old school like like silo barrack type, like like
no.
like, or all of it's all drab green, like I,
Like
it's just a neighborhood.
it's like where you live in Ingalls.
Yeah,
Like it's exactly like that. It's like,
yeah, it's just
just
it's
the
a
housing
neighborhood.
development.
I mean,
It's just cool.
military housing, you're not gonna have a house that has you're not gonna be like in the country and have like acreage.
No,
It's a
no, no.
neighborhood. Like it's a, yeah, 100%. I mean, and
Cookie
yeah, so
cutter.
like you had originally you bought a house in Virginia, used a VA loan,
Mhm.
sold that, And I mean, and I know, and I'm telling you right now that this is completely 100% legal to do. People do it all the time. It's nothing shady about it. A lot of people, they'll move, military like we move, from time to time, every 3 to 5 years, this, that, if you stay in. And, I know a lot of people who went to Virginia, had bought a house, right? You sold yours, where some people don't sell it, like they keep it, and then they rent it out. Like they hire a property manager, and then they rent it out. And then, on to the next and the next, so forth and so
Yep.
on. And, then they either eventually sell it or they don't, and then they're just making money off of that as well, right? So, especially like you said in the market now, because we were talking, we don't got to get into exact numbers, but when you first moved to Indiana, market was good. You guys bought a house, used your VA home loan, so you're talking 0% down, zero money down. There are a lot of fees that you don't have to pay. Buy the house, and then you did some stuff to the house to sell it, but with the market change, like you also, without doing any the kitchen.
I didn't do
cabinets,
anything
but no,
like
major
I changed the
repairs. Like you made money.
cabinet and sink.
That was
That
it.
was
Yeah,
cabinets and sink. No new appliances. I'll say it because I don't care. I made $23,000
and you lived there
off the house.
for less than 3 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, 100%.
No
Like,
down
this is one of
payment.
those things.
No down payment.
No down payment. No down
So,
payment.
like-
No, and then when you sell, right? There's certain fees that you don't have to worry about because it's from a VA home loan, right?
When you
Kinda?
sell, no, it's pretty much the same when you sell.
It's just
It's when you
when
buy, it's
yeah.
different. You do a VA funding fee.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But yeah, when I sold, I did pay all, and that's me paying all the closing costs,
Mhm.
everything, and I still made like 23,000.
And just to preface, like we won't get into it deep. Maybe on another episode we'll get into it. Dusty he's a guy over in Lapel. He follows
Dusty,
the show.
I know
You know who he
Dusty.
is. He said, I'm back. Oh, I see Austin Levesque. And sorry if I missed a lot. It's cool. You always go back and watch it. He said, how are you, Mr. Levesque? It's Petty Officer
Oh,
Levesque.
I'm fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, there's opportunity where you can do that. I kind of just lost what I was going to say, but it's good. Like the whole no money down thing is big. Being able to, there's this thing with like VA home loans that you can only do it, like you're going to do it through only a military bank, right? Like you have to have Navy Fed or you have to have USAA in order to do that. That is not true.
That's not true.
Almost, I think all.
I went through, my mortgage company was a mortgage company based out of Indy. I can't remember. Freedom Mortgage.
Yeah, so it wasn't even, you didn't even go through Navy Fed, which you can. I
Nope.
mean, you 100%
You can, yeah.
But
And they have benefits where they could give you a special realtor, and if you
Yep.
use their realtor, they'll give you money for using their
yeah,
realtor.
yeah, you can still even though you're getting these very set things with a VA loan, like you can still kind of even shop around because they all have, like you were just saying, like different little incentives because they know that you're not paying money down, like you don't have the whatever. So like, well, how can we still get your business? You know what I mean? So there's that, and like the second you join, I'd have to look it up. I had it right here, but pretty much like it's one of those like guaranteed things. Like, this is not something that you have to retire for. This is not something you have to be in
Nope.
20 years for.
You have to be a veteran or active duty.
Yep.
Pretty
And
much.
you can use more than one. It's on a time frame though, right? Like obviously you've used it more than once. You
Yeah,
can't
it
like
used
buy
to
two
be. There
homes at
used
the
to
same
be.
time.
No, you can.
But like,
If you lived in a house for more than a year, you can actually rent it out, keep that VA home loan, and use your VA home loan again.
Yep.
There's a cap to the amount of money you could use on it. So like in Indiana, if you bought one that was like I did, that was like 110,000. You still have a lot of money left over to go buy one. Let's say I went back to Virginia and I could get another VA home loan.
Yeah. And I'm looking just to touch on it a little bit. So just to give you guys the main pillars, and we'll do kind of a whole episode on it some other time, but main pillars of a VA home loan benefit, this is off of benefits.va.gov. Okay, so this is from the VA. No down payment required. There is a note. Lenders may require down payments for some borrowers using a VA home loan guarantee, but VA does not require down payment. Competitively low interest rates, limited closing costs, sometimes no closing costs, no need for private mortgage insurance. The VA home loan is a lifetime benefit. You can use the guarantee multiple times. This is a lifetime benefit. So this is not, where we talk about like some things like, TRICARE insurance, stuff like this. You have it while you're in, but if you get out, you don't have it anymore unless you did your 20 years. You do one term, like just like your GI Bill, right? The college, you had the forever bill now, not the GI Bill, but like you have this forever, like you've earned it, and you get to use it because you did that. So, it's a huge benefit. I mean, when you're talking to a high school kid, though, they're not thinking about that.
There's kids out here right now because I've seen it, the whole 10 on the ASVAB. If you're rocking a 15 on the ASVAB and you think you're gonna go out there in the real world and get a job and be able to buy a house, right, in this market, you're out of your mind. Like you're seriously out of your mind. This is a golden opportunity for you to live 4 years of your life like you've never lived it before. If you're rocking a 15, no offense to those 15s out there,
No.
but if you're rocking a 15, like,
yeah, I mean, you shouldn't take offense. I know that you're not trying to be offensive, and nobody should take offense. But like, yeah, I mean, 100% Navy put that out. Like we have a special waiver process right now. If you're somebody who struggled with the ASVAB test and you just could not get that passing score, yeah. Right now it's down to 10. You still have to qualify for stuff with the aptitude portion because that's the math and English. But if you were one of those people that was really, struggling with that, like you can get in right now. I mean, you can be a little limited on job selection, but who cares? Like we've talked about it before, like this benefit, the housing benefit, the VA home loans, the college, the insurance, it doesn't matter what your job is. And you have that. So, yeah, 100%. And then, Dusty had put like, he loves the studio. This is not the studio. This is just the office in Anderson. I like the studio better, but get back there, got lucky enough to make it back. But yeah, man, that's huge. Like, nice plug, not even in recruit. See, once a recruiter, always a recruiter, man. Just plugging it in.
Dude, and I'm also going to say, well, Chief, sorry, Chief. When I'm
Chief,
hearing people out here in the fleet, yes, Chief, that are like, man, I hate the Navy. I hate blah, 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 this and this, this and this. And I just, it's starting to bother me.
Yeah.
It's honestly starting to bother me because one, they never worked a duty like recruiting. One, they never did that.
Nope.
So like you got people who are getting admin sept and they're talking about how much the Navy sucks. It's like, okay, like you weren't even in the Navy, so you don't even know. They're talking about the bureaucracy about things. And it's like you've been in since breakfast. Okay. So let's
they don't.
chill
I
out a
think
little bit.
normally those people too, and I'm saying not everyone, I'm not, we're not stereotyping everybody, but it always seems to be like younger sailors. They like came in like right out of high school and they think it's just like horrible, like because they probably had a recruiter that just didn't really explain anything to them, and they just think that like I'm just gonna get out. Like I did. I had people,
right here,
guys tell like this is just I'm just gonna get out. I'm just gonna get out and like I'm gonna go freaking whatever and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, if you acted the way you act right now at any other, you'd already been fired, and the Navy won't even fire you. And then like look, I went over it. If you watched last week, I kind of broke down just basic pay, the way I told you that my buddy did, and like I was talking like I think I said an E4 at 4 years with 4 years sea time, basically is what it was, right? Yep. And just like I pulled up websites like basic insurance, basic, and this is, we're not even talking about like existential, outside stuff. Like I did Virginia BAH, I did BAS. I did basic insurance for 2, and that was just medical insurance, and I already got it up to like it was like 70 grand, like that you would have to be making at a civilian job for it to be comparable. I didn't go over everything because, like, you know, I mean, let's be honest, but like the VA home loan, you can't put a value on that. You know, you can't.
Nope.
I mean, you can put a value. Literally, you can put a value because if you go to the VA on the college
it's exclusive.
stuff,
It's exclusive. So you're talking about something that only certain people are awarded. Not everyone gets to have it. And
like life insurance, you should have life insurance. But like, could I be in the civilian world and not be okay without it? Like, sure. So like, I didn't add like the cost of that. So I'm talking like just baseline minimum. And it was already like 70, I think it was like right at 70K as an E4 with like 4 years in because of CPay, because of this. Like, it's mind blowing.
But you know, there's some people that truly cannot handle the military's, you know, what their pace. And you know, some of the, you know, the way the chain of command works, some people just aren't keen on that kind of stuff. They're not able to do that. And you know, sometimes it takes getting in to figure that out. But like you have always said, you'll never waste 4 years.
Nope.
It's not a waste. You know what I mean? Like, you could hate every second of it, but like, when you have to be, some people are just not honest with themselves. And it's
they
like,
don't realize it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the guy's name, but the guy who was complaining, he was showing up late to holds muster by 30 minutes. No excuse. You know, so it's like, okay, you hate the Navy, but like, if you were in the real world right now, you'd be fired immediately.
You wouldn't have a job. Like,
so you got to save your well, oh, what was that movie? He was telling her like, he's like upset. Tell your wife your woes or whatever. What movie was this?
Oh, you're talking about well, you're not talking about.
I think there's
Leonardo DiCaprio?
swearing in it. No.
You're not talking about the sales movie that I love. That's where he's like talking about like,
your
girlfriend thinks you suck.
Yeah.
Good. Pick up the phone and start.
No,
dialing.
not that. I'm gonna find it later and I'll send it to you. So you know what I'm
or you talking about the one with Alec Baldwin, the other sales thing. Coffee's
There
for
we go.
closers. It's Buckman, and or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
He
Go
said,
home.
F you, go play with your kids.
Yeah. Driving El Dorado.
He said, oh, I worked in sales. It's a tough gig.
Yeah. Hedrick, apparently it's just like a surface and aviation thing, because Hedrick did say, them surface guys always complaining. And it's kind of true, man. Like, I've said this before. I didn't volunteer for subsurface. Everybody I've ever met that's on subsurface, like, they just love it. I don't know. I don't get it.
You know, the people that have like the easiest jobs in the Navy seem to always have something to be upset about.
Hedrick also said, what other job can you go? This is a good point. What other job can you go to and screw around all day with the homies? Sure, when you get underway, the job kicks in, but you know, he says, talk to me when you've been under sea. And he's right. I mean, yeah, we get underway, like, but even underway, like, there's still downtime. Like, there really is.
What are you doing? I mean, look at us right now on this podcast. You're getting paid right now. You know what I mean?
That's what I tell kids, like, when I go in and do a presentation, it's like, look, I'm here to help you. Like, yeah, I want you to join. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you join or not. Like, I want to help you. Like, if you join or don't join, guess what? I'm going to get paid today. I'm going to get paid tomorrow. I'm going to get paid the next day. I'm going to get paid this weekend. I'm going to be off on the federal holidays. I'm not going to be at work. Black Friday, oh, you work retail? You worked all day? That's cool. I slept in, like, and got paid. Like, you know, I mean, you know me. You know I actually care. But, like, you know, it's just, like we're talking about, like you're saying, like you're on holds. Like, it's frustrating because you want to get to a job, but, like,
what's there
you're
to complain
getting paid
about?
the same as somebody who is literally on deployment right now. Like, that's
like,
insane.
I've just noticed myself just not even, like, when people start complaining about something, I'm not even I'm not even getting in the
You
conversation
just
because
can't
it's like
anymore, can you? It's
I'm
finally
like
come to fruition where you're like,
nothing to
these
complain
people are
about, dude.
idiots. Like,
Don't get me talking about recruiting though. But
nah.
I actually told somebody. I told this
There's Cooper.
it was
Cooper
a
said, "Good
lieutenant.
evening, Chief and
It
Petty
was
Officer."
a lieutenant junior grade,
Mhm.
and she was talking about like, she likes to put her sailors first and all kinds of things like that. And I was like, you'd be great for recruiting. Everything you're saying, like the recruiters would love to work for you. And I was like, man, I just told someone to go recruiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Like, you know. But no, I appreciate again. You're on Behind the Helm. We're gonna be wrapping up here. There's no bonus content today. Like I said, I had to rush back, and I really just want to spend some time talking to Petty Officer Levesque. Haven't had an opportunity to have him back on the show. You made
Mhm.
jokes that, yeah, I'm not coming back, but here you are. And so, definitely go back and watch
I
this
knew I
episode if
would.
you haven't. Talk about military housing, kind of show some stuff about single sailor housing and just kind of talk about how that works out, a little bit about VA home loans and just in general and how Petty Officer Levesque is doing and what he's up to next. So on hold, it's going to start another school January 9th, right?
Hmm.
Through another month-long school before he even gets to his ship left here in October. So, man, just living that rough life right now.
Yeah, oh, yeah, terrible. That's why I look so tired.
Yeah,
I really do look very
it's
tired.
like your lighting right now is definitely like shadowing, and I was going to, and I decided not to. I about said like, hey man, you getting enough sleep out there?
Yeah,
You know,
someone already said that to me out here. Like,
too
are you
too
all
much
right?
too much sun out there. You don't sleep.
Like, did you get in a fight? I was like, no, I'm a Levesque. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, yes, absolutely. So I'll see what I'm doing, Hedrick. I'm not sure what I have going on next Thursday. I might have something else, but I'll touch. He said
Dunnick,
he's not doing anything next Thursday.
Ensign Dunnick's gonna be coming there too. So I mean, everyone's gonna come see you.
Oh, for break.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Well, he's Hedrick's just talking about the show.
Oh yeah. Well, he was talking about he wanted to be on the show too.
Yeah, for housing stuff like that. So, but
Oh yeah.
and Nick Cooper's in here. He said, "Good evening, Chief and Petty Officer." So, no, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of the middle of your day in civilian clothes
Yeah.
at 1
Yeah. I
o'clock.
think I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah, man. Like maybe go hit some golf balls because it's nice out. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
even do that right now if I wanted to, man. I
It's
could.
too cold.
It would
It's like
suck.
the ground's too hard.
It would suck. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be cold. But no, absolutely happy for you. Glad things are going good. And maybe we'll have to have you back on again when you actually get to the ship so we can kind of talk
Yeah.
you know, about how that changes. I would be interested to hear how you feel about the change of going from a carrier to a smaller ship down to a cruiser. So it'd be really cool. So thank you everybody for watching. Petty Officer Levesque, I'll go ahead and let you sign off and I'll finish up here. And thank you for your help. Right? You've been gone since October. Still had to call you to fix something. Get
I got you. I
get
got
it to
you.
work. I always forget, man. So thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
See you, bud. All right. So, again, thank you, everyone, for signing in. Everybody who was here. It ended up being a little longer, and that's okay. I got a little started just a little late, but it's good to see Petty Officer Vec. Glad he's doing well. Glad we were able to get on here. We had good internet connection the whole time because when I'm here, I'm actually hardlined in, so that's nice. But thank you very much, and we'll see what's going on next week. Whether Hedrick, I might have you on, but I think I might already have something planned. I just cannot remember. I got to look. So, thank you very much. I will see you guys before Christmas. For those of you who are here, and if you don't watch another episode before Christmas, happy holidays to everybody. Safe travels. Be safe out there. And hey, I'm just telling you, you can always load these videos up and like when you're driving across country because you're going somewhere for Christmas. A good thing to listen to, learn you something. So thank you guys very, very much. Chief Dowden signing out Behind the Helm. Have a good one.